Hello everyone, Arkandy here, and I'm bringing you guys a new tutorial on a trick that I found which lets you skip a large portion of Artaria. Shoutouts to EOD Tex, Bunny, Namatasu, DLC, Mr. Miguel, C. Scotty, Torvis, and others for their important findings and contributions. If you've watched my showcase video on the Artaria skip, know that the new setup is much easier now, and I'll explain everything. I'll start by showing you the trick done in one go, and then I'll explain each step one at a time. With this trick, basically you jump over the Emmi, then melee and avoid most of our target. Alright, so the setup we just watched is what I call the delayed coyote setup. How does this work? The first thing you want to know is how to position yourself and lure the Emmi to the ceiling. The way you do that is, I'm going to borrow a setup by DLC. Grab the ledge, slow climb, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is more or less the position you want to be in. It doesn't have to be that specific. You can eyeball it. You can just try to go there on your own, as long as you remember the visual cues, really. But you don't want to be too far to the right, because otherwise the Emmi is going to climb to the magnet instead of the ceiling. And if you're too far to the left, the Emmi might actually not climb the ceiling, and it will just like flip around on the floor waiting for you to land. So this isn't talked about much. But there aren't many ways to adjust Samus's position. Sometimes one little step can be too much. One thing you could do is you can do a double turnaround, like you start walking in one direction, then turn around, like this. See, this slow rotation makes you move less than one step. So if you want to adjust Samus very slightly, you can do this. So back to this position from earlier. What you want to do to lure the Emmi to the ceiling is when the Emmi is almost on you, you want to do a full jump. And you want to respin when you're at the top of the jump. If you're somehow facing this way, then you would want to move sideways a little bit. But all you have to do really is just jump and respin. When is the Emmi close to you? Once the Emmi goes past this like wall, you can use the wall as a threshold. Like once the Emmi comes past the wall, you do the full jump and you respin. So it is very important to commit to the full jump. Look at what the Emmi does when all you do is jump without the respin. See what it did there? The Emmi climbs the ceiling just because you're in the air at this time. You don't even have to respin or anything, and it just goes up to climb the ceiling. So obviously, the reason why we're doing the respin is that we want to get past the Emmi to the left before it starts stretching its legs. And that's why you have to commit to the jump. You really want to be up here to make the Emmi go, and I think it's not exactly at the peak of the jump. It might be a little bit past the peak of the jump. That's when you want to do that respin. Assuming that you correctly lured the Emmi to the ceiling, now you want to move to this ledge and wait for the Emmi a little bit. You only need to do a short delay. That's why I call this the delayed coyote setup. How much do you want to delay? So you get to this ledge as soon as possible once you lure the Emmi to the ceiling. And your latest opportunity to get the slide started is just about when the Emmi crosses the right side of that big circle thing in the background. I also want to say that the longer your delay, the better the chances you have of actually grabbing the ledge. With a late delay, the Emmi will be in a very good position. With a shorter delay, you'll need to do this next step better, which I'm going to explain right next. Once you get here, once you've lured the Emmi, once you've delayed enough, you want to do slide coyote into some wall jump tech. I call it the stall jump tech. So first thing you do is you hold the direction of the wall. You keep, so in this case left, you keep left held down the whole time. You never release left. And you want to do the briefest tap for a wall jump, immediately followed by a free aim tap. So B followed by L, just both very brief taps. See what Samus is doing? She's getting up and turning around automatically once she reaches a certain distance. See when Samus is turning around and start going to the left? That is when you want to respin. That's the next step. You want to respin after Samus starts going to the left. If you do it before, you actually extend the jump away from the wall. See? She's going almost on top of the ledge, whereas she just stops quite a bit before the ledge if you do it correctly. So the last thing is you're going to want to wall jump again and basically just repeat the steps that we were doing. So the point of this trick, as I said, is to stall, is to avoid losing height. You're not really gaining height with this, but you are also not losing much height if you execute it correctly. The hardest part really is the turnaround. You have to make sure that you do brief taps and react correctly to your turnaround, because if you do it too early, it's not going to be well executed. And to me personally, the hardest part is actually the perspective for this wall. I actually miss on the wall jumps many times because the perspective kind of messes with my brain. If you have a mid-game file, you can try to come here and practice, because obviously the Emmi is not going to let you practice this here. But this is something that you can literally practice anywhere that has a decently large wall. Always make sure that you press B before L, because if you press L, you're not going to get a wall jump. If you press B too early, you're also not going to get a wall jump. So make sure your L press comes after B so you don't miss out on any inputs. Once you can manage that stall jump tech, you do your slide into a coyote. It's preferable to do it on a rather late frame. It gets you a better distance and height. Then you do one stall jump and one full wall jump into a melee, and you grab the ledge. Let's review the melee. Stall jump, and that's it. You don't want a melee, so you want your cannon to more or less hit the Emmi like halfway through the melee animation. The cannon is what gives you collision, so if you do a melee too early, the cannon will be too far and you'll hit the Emmi and take a parry. If you're too late, the same thing will happen. So you'll have to try this a few times until you get a comfortable timing. When you delay your coyote quite a bit, usually you can get away with a rather early timing. Like, you don't melee immediately after you wall jump, but a little bit after your wall jump is the timing you're looking for. I think I get the melee more or less. I guess it's hard to pinpoint on the clip, but this is about the start of the animation. I don't think it's something that you can just use as a visual cue, but at the very least, I want you to have an idea of when you want to start the animation. Of course, the benefit of delaying the Emmi is not only that it makes the setup easier, is that you normalize the Emmi's position as much as possible so that the rest of the setup is as consistent as possible. So when you do land the melee, you want to start holding left so that Samus goes onto the ledge and you actually grab it as you go down. Thanks to the delayed coyote setup, you are banking on the Emmi being very close to the door, so your melee should just about always push you straight to the ledge. With different setups or with a shorter delay, you might catch the Emmi earlier into the ceiling and you might have to respin to get extra distance that helps you grab the ledge. Now, when you do grab the ledge, you still have to get past the Emmi, and with this setup, there are two ways in which you can do that. One of the ledge climb methods is to slow climb and then jump over the Emmi like this. So the way you do it is you wait until the Emmi starts going down. So the last frame or two where the Emmi's legs are getting off of the ceiling is when you want to slow climb. You can slow climb by just pressing B or pushing the stick upright, or up left in this case. And you immediately, so you're pressing forward and you immediately jump over the Emmi as soon as you can. And that's it. Your other alternative is to hop over the Emmi directly from the ledge at a slightly later timing than the other method. Like this. So the visual cue for this one is when you see the Emmi recoiling, so after the Emmi lands inside the door frame, you see the Emmi sort of recoiling backward a little bit. When you see that recoil, that's your cue to jump. So the inputs for this is to jump away from the ledge and then turn around and hop over the Emmi. The slow climb method is about 1.5 seconds faster than the ledge hop. It's noticeable, but you can always choose the most comfortable option to you. There is a world where you could quick climb past the Emmi if you do not delay your coyote. However, this is only 0.6 seconds faster than the slow climb method, and it is so much harder to execute. Once you get past the ledge, you have to clear one last hurdle, which is taking the Emmi parry and succeeding. And the reason for that is this is a special chase sequence. You're supposed to get to the other side of the Emmi zone into that water section, and then the Emmi opens the door. So if you don't take the parry, the Emmi zone will never unlock, and it will chase you down the ends of the earth. There is a lot to be said about parrying Emmis, but this video is already getting pretty long, so I'll keep it short. You will have two opportunities to parry the Emmi. The first one is more lenient than the second, so that's what I'll focus on. The Emmi randomly picks one of 3 possible timings to strike you, early, mid, and late. The timings are always the same, so it's not completely at random. And based on the timings you see here, it's not really practical to try and react to all of them. Your best shot is to choose one of those timings and expect it, rather than relying purely on reaction times. If you fail this, you can still try your luck on the second strike, which follows similar rules to the first one, but is far less lenient. One last thing about the parry, do not do this. Don't walk back into the Emmi or stay too close to the door, otherwise you go straight into game over screen without a parry. To actually get the parry, you must be past the ledge or at least be on the ledge and let the Emmi come to you. To finish this video, let's talk about the implications of this skip. First, you get to acquire early charge beam. Then, if you were to do glitchless routing, you are going to be soft locked when you get back to this door. So, you can only do this skip if you also do early cloak pseudo, which is only possible in the no major glitches or unrestricted categories. Then you beat Corpus, you go directly to the thermal press while skipping Atom 2. On the way back you talk to Atom 2, but you get to skip Atom 3. So effectively this results in an even earlier Atom skip than formerly done in Catalyst. Once you reach Catalyst, you're able to also skip the first Atom in there. And then the rest of the route is the same as it was. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions about this trick. I'll be happy to answer them. Good luck learning the Artaria skip, and I'll see you on the next one.